So as of the 16th of May, Manor has sold 2 million copies, which is an insane achievement, especially from what was a one-man development team. Now, there also have been a little bit of controversy around that. Slavic Magic, who is the main developer over at, well, Hooded Horse is the publisher, but at Manor, made this game from the start on their own, building models, coding, and of course doing all the animations and everything that comes with it. Yet, throughout the direction of development, and as you normally do, you get some help in stuff that you can't do, whether it's composing and recording the music, building a few more models, or doing some rigging, and that's what they did, and they were all freelancers. That to me still counts as a solo developed job, just because you had help. I run this YouTube channel on my own, yet I do have help every now and then. This is still my YouTube channel. Yet other developers were coming at Slavic Magic saying this is not a solo developed game, something that I would wholeheartedly disagree with, and it is an incredible achievement to sold 2 million copies. And this brings me on to the fact that that is surpassing most games these days. Not just indie games, not just AA games, but also AAA games. Some of them just cannot beat those kind of numbers. And for a title that is not only one person, very small scale as well in terms of its vision and early access, I don't think it can be beaten. Of course, the support around it has been absolutely huge. This is an incredible title. I mean, the detail on this. I saw a tweet the other day of an indie developer recommending that other developers go down a cartoony and more stylized route because trying to go high fidelity just doesn't work when you're working on a solo project. Well, I think Manor have proven that wrong. This is one of the most gorgeous games that I've ever seen. I mean, planting your farms and having your villagers go out and gathering and harvesting. Of course, the traders going between towns and seeing your animals and this small little medieval village build up into something majestic. Then the battles themselves are gorgeous. Now, a lot of the animations are, of course, done by freelancers, but they are all mocapped, and you can tell the quality of the animations within the battles in Manor is actually Total War-esque, and whilst it isn't even close to the same size, they are heading that way, at least I think at some point in time. Now, there are some issues. For example, pathfinding is still a huge issue. There's definitely some bugs. I've been playing, and a lot of the time the granaries are just invisible. Who knows? I guess you don't want to see where you keep your food anyway, especially when it's gone off. But this has seen a lot of criticism from, well, the developer themselves. And this starts to worry me because it is a one-man team and Slavic Magic has done a fantastic job, but it seems like he is pounding himself to try and get every small little bug and issue fixed, which is commendable in some ways. The fact that they are so hard working to get this game perfect, yet I think it can have some drawbacks. They tweeted this the other day. Feel free to experiment and have fun with mods, but please don't report bugs if you use them. I spent time checking the missing granary model, you know, the one I spoke about, only to learn that it was caused by the Storage Plus mod. Now, this is interesting, because I've never seen a developer that is so in touch with their fan base and their community that they have grown, and they've done a fantastic job of doing that. That's why the game has gone from what it started out as to the final early access release to where people are so happy with it, because there were so many tests along the way and giving feedback and changing things like dynamic roads that were changed throughout, burning down settlements. These things were all changed and tweaked as development went on, and now we have this more polished project. Yet it seems like this could send somebody absolutely crazy, because as far as I'm aware, Slavic Magic hasn't hired anybody else. It is still just him working with a few freelancers. They have Hooded Horse. They have the millions, or should I say tens of millions of revenue now that have come in from this game. And I don't even want to think about it. It's probably more than that. They need to do something with this. But there was a reply from Slavic Magic because someone mentioned this. I hope you, just like Notch, will decide to get some devs who look into modding, patching, and helping you with life-work balance. Although I'm sure you're aware of that yourselves. And Slavic Magic replied saying, fun fact, hiring and management is a difficult and time-consuming job which can easily destroy a work-life balance. Okay, this is fairly true, although I'm not sure is the most long-sighted way of looking at it. Yeah, sure, it will take some time out of development in the short term, but in the long run, this is how we're going to keep a game going. We can see some of the success of Manor due to their Steam DB charts as well. I mean, 16.9 thousand people in game. This sets it within the top well, 20, 30 games on Steam in terms of concurrent players at the moment, which is insane, especially because Hooded Horse, the publisher, very, very small. This is their first big hit. And I noticed this because when this game came out, it was about $24. They've actually raised it up about £10 as well, which is crazy. I've never seen a game that's raised its price so soon after release, but I mean, fair enough, since it's had, well, such an incredible smash hit. We can see the player count over the last 3 months. I guess we're only doing over the last week. No, okay, we're doing over the last max. So we released 170,000 concurrent plays. That was insane. Now it is on a downhill spiral, but I don't think that's anything to be worried about. That's just the nature of how these games works. We've seen the same with Kingdom Come Deliverance. We've seen the same with pretty much every Total War game, except from Rome 2, that actually had an uphill trajectory, which was a bit strange. We also saw the same with a game like, I don't know, Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, that released, had over 150,000 concurrent players, and now we're settling at around 10 to 15,000, which is a very healthy number for this sort of game. Bigger than most games on Steam. So whilst it can be on the surface a look at the downhill of the player base, I think we're probably going to settle at around 15,000 concurrent players, and that's where Manor is going to sit quite happily. It's also the case that this is not a very content-rich game. Whilst it has released into early access and you can pay for it and the prices have gone up, there is still a lot that needs to be added in. You can maybe get 10 to 15 hours of gameplay on this in one run before starting again. Now, of course, many people keep going and going and going until they find victory of the game, or of course starting new saves and doing different methods or challenges, and that is a way that I like to replay the game. But I think in terms of content there is still quite a lot lacking, but it's still incredibly positive. 88% of user reviews are positive, and it is an absolute smash hit because of it. 2.2 million copies sold. I've never seen anything like this from an individual, and I cannot wait to see what comes next. I think in terms of development, there is a lot to be done, a lot of bugs that need fixing as well. I mean, they also tweeted the other day, someone's actually put first-person VR walking around the manor. I can't wait to try that out myself. But content needs to be added in. There needs to be more factions in terms of the AI, and of course, other villages that come onto the regions that you can then go and attack yourselves. That would be one of the best additions. But the newest patch that came out seems to have had some pretty positive receptions, adding in bodies that can be carried around, adding in the royal tax that currently doesn't have any repercussions at the moment, but it was still within the game. It's a little bit annoying right now because, well, I'm being taxed and there's no reason to, because no one gets angry if I don't pay it, but that will eventually come in. And of course, bug fixes to some of the issues like the granaries and pathfinding and that kind of thing. Manor Lords in total has been a huge success, and I can't wait to see where it goes from this point in time, but I don't think they're done yet. I think, especially when it comes to a full release in maybe a couple of years' time, this player base and, well, copies sold, I think we could be hitting the 5 million mark, which is Kingdom Come Deliverance territory, which is AAA studio territory, which is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.